Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will be your MC this evening, and it is a privilege and an honor to welcome you to the 25th anniversary celebration for what I truly believe is the most important apostolate in the world today, LifeSite News. Now, I want you to think where you were when you first logged on to LifeSite News. And I bet you I was in a better place than you were. I was at the University of Hawaii, where I was the president of the Pro-Life Student Union. I did not yet own a computer, and I would write my papers on a Brother word processor. I did not own a Palm Pilot yet. That was still 2 years away. And it'd be 2 or 3 years away before I owned my first cell phone. A lot has changed in the world since 1997. And one of those things was the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And LifeSite News is what has knit the pro-life movement together, that in over the past 25 years, we saw the pro-life movement grow into truly the largest, most passionate, and diverse social movement in the history of the world. And I'm excited to be here tonight simply to be in the same room with so many of my heroes. Because as I look out into the room tonight, I don't know about you, but I feel like this is a Hall of Fame dinner for some of the greatest saints in the history of the world. And so I'm grateful to two of my heroes, Steve and John Henry, for entrusting me with the privilege of being your MC tonight. So before we begin the evening, I would like to thank our sponsors, Jim and Josette Kramer and their beautiful daughter, Catherine, in Kramer Marketing. The Thomas More Society. Nicholas and Natasha Brueggemann and Bavarian Waste. Dr. Joseph and Kathy Bush and the Scapular Apostolate. Now this other group I'm afraid to mention, because they're kind of extreme. The Coalition for Canceled Priests. While we're applauding that group of extremists, can I see, do you all have your symbols of extremism with you, I hope? I hope we all have our symbols of extremism. I was so happy to see that this was one of tonight's sponsors. In 2007, my first movie, a little film you may remember called Bella, was in theaters. And thanks to the family that owns Goya Foods, they bought out $500,000 in movie tickets that I had to give away through Spanish language radio station. I still buy Goya food every time I go in the grocery store. And there was this wild New Yorker with real attitude calling me, asking for more and more tickets every day. And I thought, this guy is really obnoxious and full of it. And then turns out he is kind of obnoxious and not full of it. He filled up. He got high schools across New York City to bus their students from public high schools to see Bella. Who am I talking about? Chris Slattery, Expectant, and Mother Care. A real hero. And Human Life International. Let's give them an applause. We love Human Life International. Carlo and Maria DiMaggio, Radio Maria. And Jim and Joanne Wright, the Stations of the Cross Catholic Media Network. And I would like you to look into the program, and let's give all of the sponsors, those I mentioned and those in the program, a big round of applause. The great Catholic anthropologist René Girard said, "If you serve the vulnerable, you will become as vulnerable as they are. If you stand with the scapegoat, if you stand between the mob and a scapegoat, you will become the victim of the mob as the scapegoat." When we think of the plight of those that we're celebrating here and recognizing here today with the Coalition of Canceled Priests, they became vulnerable because of their commitment to Jesus Christ and their parishioners. They truly became indistinguishable from the scapegoat, and like our scapegoat, who provided a path to salvation for all of us, our Lord and Savior himself. As I look around this room, I see so many of my friends, people I've worked with, some of you for almost 3 decades, and I think you feel the same way. And we think of over the past 25 years, the important uniting role that LifeSite News has played in informing us, not only about the news of the day, truthfully, but about the work of so many heroes that we've come to love and be able to support. And that video clip that you saw, along with Archbishop Vigano's talk, because we have such wonderful conversations, you may have missed it. They will be available on the LifeSite News website. In that video, which you just saw, the clip that we just watched, it's sort of awe-inspiring to think that LifeSite News in 25 years went from being an organization that was friends with Michael O'Brien to an organization that's living in a Michael O'Brien novel, if you've read his novels. With my work, I know that LifeSite News has been one of the only voices in the world for the persecuted church in China, for the Uyghur in Chinese-occupied East Turkestan, for people who are suffering under medical tyranny around the world. It is truly a testament to the reach and growth that has occurred over the past 25 years of the hard work, drive, and ambition, the zeal, the fortitude of the 2 men with a vision and a commitment to this mission of LifeSite News. I'd like to take a moment to share with you why I said yes to emceeing this event. When I was asked several months ago, I looked at my calendar and said, that is the worst possible week for me to do anything. Because I've spent almost every waking moment since early August of last year rescuing Afghan Christians and our Afghan allies from certain death. And August 15th was the anniversary of the collapse of Afghanistan and it falling into the hands of the Taliban. So I knew that this week would be a busy week for me. A year ago today, I had COVID pneumonia, and I was sitting in my office on prednisone, which I was grateful for because I needed to stay awake for days and days at a time. And on my computer, I had hundreds of photos of Afghan Christian families and their contact information, and we were working nonstop to try to get them on planes that we knew would soon be ceasing to leave Afghanistan. We had 2 or 3 weeks. And as the US left and we still had only about 170,000 folks that President Biden promised not to leave behind, left behind, including American citizens, my organization began working to bring people overland into the neighboring countries. But my organization doesn't have a big budget, and we leverage influence and relationships in government and media and other places to serve these vulnerable communities. And I did not know how I was going to fund what we were doing. And I got a call from LifeSite News, a young man. So we've made a LifeFunder for you. We'd like you to look at it so we can put it up to help you raise money. And I don't even know how you knew what I was doing at this point in time because I don't know who really knew what was going on. I remember thinking, I said, I don't have time for this right now. Very sweet, thank you. No, we did it for you. Can you just approve it? And they sent me an email of a fundraising site that they set up on their LifeFunder. And I made just a few changes, and I said, oh, thank you very much. And I thought, so probably bring in a couple $1,000s. That will be very useful. Well, in just a matter of weeks, LifeSite News, sharing our mission with their donors, who does that, raised $500,000. And with that $500,000, we were able to evacuate and rescue from certain death hundreds and hundreds of Christian families. It's embarrassing when people see the work that I'm doing and they say, oh, thank you for what you're doing, you're heroic. I am not. The heroes are our Afghan partners, and the heroes are LifeSite News and the donors of LifeSite News. I'm really grateful for the privilege to stand with you tonight. I admire you. I'm so grateful for you. And because of LifeFunder's continued support, we kept 30,000 Christians and other minorities alive through the brutal winter last year that would have certainly starved. The reason I agreed to emcee this event was so I could look at you, LifeSite News, Father Frank, John Henry, your family, your donors. I want to thank you because you truly are all that stands between a violent ideology and that will ravage our world. You are between the CCP and Cardinal Zen. You're between the Uyghur and the government of China. You're between vulnerable women all over the world and an abortion industry that will devour them. You're between Islamic extremists and the Christians of Syria. You're between those Afghan children who were made orphans because their fathers were killed by the Taliban serving with us, and famine. When I was 17 years old, I had always dreamed of being a strong man that would protect my child, protect my family when I became an adult. And I couldn't protect my first child even to birth because she was destroyed by a forced third trimester abortion. And I remember how powerless I felt. And I remember I was an atheist, and I remember one time just saying a prayer. Lord, if you're out there and I don't believe you're real, this atheist pro-lifer, I need three things to acknowledge you exist. I need famous people. I need powerful people. I need journalists. I need rich people. Raise them up, oh powerful God, if you're out there, because right now it's me and three old ladies in a little office in Honolulu. When I listen to Jim Caviezel speak with such force and power today, I'm reminded that God hears even the prayers of atheists. Thank you for letting me spend the evening with you. Thank you for letting me, Lord, breathe the same air as these folks. To look upon you is a privilege and a blessing. And so as you look at those donor cards, I would ask that you do not become simply a donor to LifeSite News, but you become their partner in the next 50 years, because the culture of death is relentless. We will have victories, we will have defeats, we will ruck up, and we will keep marching, because we will leave our posterity a culture of life and a civilization of love. Because when you support LifeSite News, you support Father Altman, you support Father Frank Pavone, you support Cardinal Zen, you support Cardinal Burke and Archbishop Vigano. Be their partner, and then put your little card in this envelope. Again, it's been a beautiful privilege to share the same air as you and to look upon you. Aloha and God bless you. Drive safe.